Hi, I'm James from Castle Cameras and you're joining me today for our first look at the new Nikon D600. Here is our D600 box. It's standard Nikon prestigious gold boxes. I'm just going to have a quick look through the contents, show you what you can expect, and yeah, we'll get into some of the camera's features. So here we go. Standard issue weighting instruction manual. It will be printed in a fair few languages, so don't be thinking that you're going to spend a couple of weeks reading this at night. Warranty and software. Software are always included with Nikon SLRs. As we take a look underneath here, you can pull out the camera body itself, nicely wrapped up. We've also got a box of accessories. So in here, a standard UK mains lead, D600 strap, standard mini USB cable, this is the EL15 battery, which is the same as a Nikon D700, Nikon D7000. So if you're moving up from one of them, you're not going to be having to replace loads of batteries if you've already got them. Nikon charger, MH25, charge the EL15. Take single battery. So first impressions straight out of the box. It's got a comfortable weight to it. It's sort of more than I was expecting actually. A lot of the construction in this, it's a pared down camera. It's not built like a D4, it's not even built like a D800, yet it does feature the same amount of weather seals and the same environmental protection as a Nikon D800. Construction's good, construction's nice, it's got a nice weight to it. You can tell the magnesium where it's been used. It gives it that solid feel. Nikon have sort of changed their design aspects a little bit over the last couple of generations. We've got these sort of contoured lines which are aesthetically pleasing. It also feels comfortable in your hand. The joys of Nikon cameras for me is that they've always been comfortable. They've always been sort of, they feel right to hold, which some of the competition can't offer you. Nice touch is this locking mode dial, as standard. So you press the button in the centre here to be able to rotate your command dial. It stops those awkward mishaps when you're pulling stuff in and out of bags all day. If you're changing bodies quite a lot, you want to be able to pick your camera up, know the settings are as you left them. You don't want to be messing around with these sort of things. We've got sort of a continuation from the old D100, D200, 300, etc, etc. We can change our shutter modes by holding down this small release catch here, rotating this second command ring. So we're going to go from single shot, low speed continuous, high speed continuous, quiet shutter mode, self timer, remote, and mirror up. Your mirror up mode is not what you're going to be using to clean your sensor. It locks the mirror up in place. It just gives that little more stability. If you're taking things like long exposures, night shots, the force of the mirror moving up and down as you originally press the shutter can actually cause shake. That's going to help. It'll also make shooting a bit quieter. We've got pretty standard button layout on the back. If you're coming from a D7000, even a D5100, you're going to be instantly familiar. Anyone been using Nikon for a long time, really, really quick and intuitive to pick up. A lot of this stuff, okay, it might be missing our sort of familiar 3-button layout on the top, but that's for people coming from things like D700s, D300s, anything like that that was sort of aimed at that level up, the user that wanted that much more functionality of a body. These have now been all the buttons we would have found on the top plate have now been moved to the back, it's still a simple button press. Use one of the 2 command dials provided on the front and on the back. You're going to be changing away. The new additions here include your live view dedicated button, but it's also got our switch between live view for stills and ND for movie. Flicking that switch will change the display ratio on the back of the screen. You'll go from sort of 4:3 to 16:9. It will give you that framing that you're going to be expecting from HD video. Sort of actually quite a nice little addition that's always sort of picked Nikon up a little bit is their info buttons. Their help is very accessible. It doesn't matter where you're on the menu, no matter what you're doing, press that info button. You're always going to get a quick hint just to give you a nice little tip where you're going, what you're doing, and what you want to change. Buttons down the side here start with menu, editing, help and lock key. And these are your 2 zoom keys down here, zoom in and out. These have now got dedicated buttons. Hold any of these down and you get this secondary function. So we've got picture style, white balance, quality and ISO settings, all by holding down, rotating and on. Standard sort of directional pad here. This is also going to select your focus points. Once you've half pressed the shutter, if you're on a single point AF selection, you'll be able to rotate it around. This has also got, as per sort of Nikon standard, its locking mode. Just stops it when you bring the camera to your face. You're not going to accidentally hit this. It's going to move your focus points. If it's locked, they're going to stay the same. You're absolutely fine. Sort of pared down top plate a little bit. We've now just got a metering mode, a dedicated record button, and your exposure compensation. This is a fairly familiar layout for anyone who's been using Nikon. If you are moving up from a 30-100 or a 50-100, it'll just take a little bit of time to get used to sort of having dedicated buttons. Again, hold them down, quick spin of a dial. You're going to be able to see all the changes on your LCD on the top plate. Front of the camera, on the side here, got our flash button. The power turned on, this is going to launch the flash. Hold it down, it's also going to change your flash exposure compensation. Dedicated bracketing button. This is key to make sure when you press this button, you rotate something. It is easy to hit, it's easy to miss something. Go for it. And then we always get a lot of people come in and say, my camera's intermittently under and overexposing. Check your bracketing options, odds are you've pressed it and nudged something. It happens to all of us. Dedicated AF switch on the body. This is if you're moving up from a 5-100 or a 3-200, you're really going to notice the difference. You've now got, your options are limitless in the Nikon lens range. You don't have to worry about the lens being driven by a tow motor. The body will pick up the slack, so AF lenses are now good to go on this kind of body. This is relatively new to me. I haven't had a lot of experience with sort of some of the newer Nikon bodies, but these are the nice features that sort of make this camera something extra, something a bit special. You're going to be able to use it for HD video. With that comes your audio. People have been dying for mic inputs on cameras and audio out, so monitoring systems on DSLRs. The amount of videographers now using full frame or even crop SLRs as video cameras it's on the increase. Adding these little touches, this little functionality, is going to make a big difference. Just below here, we've got our standard USB, so mini USB out. Plug that in, you're going to be able to download all your files. You'll also notice just below here is a mini USB port, mini HDMI port even. So you're going to be able to sort of stream your information in HD to your HD TV. Any full HD video will play back in full HD. Just underneath here, tucked away a little bit, this is going to be your cable release and GPS socket. So anything like Nikon proprietary shutter releases, cable releases, GPS units, they're all going to use that information port. On the other side, we've got our grip, nice new rubberized, good, decent sized grip. I don't have the biggest hands in the world, but it feels comfortable. Add a battery grip, you're going to be talking, quite a lump of size. It's going to be comfortable. Slide this here. Dual SD card slots. This is one of the biggest things missing from the competition. Having more than one media format or media storage option is always a good thing. You can choose it to store JPEGs on one, RAW on the other. You can use it to store stills on one, video on the other. You can have it automatically back up or act as an overflow. Having two SD card slots, you instantly double your memory without having the fear of, oh, which pocket have I put it in? What have I done with my SD card? That's a thing of the past. Dual SD, SD and CF, anything like that has got to be a plus. So there's a quick little look at the form factor of the camera, run through some of the features, run through some of the buttons, and yeah, it's good. It feels confident. It's D800-esque, yet still with that sort of enthusiast-inspired design. So things like this mode dial, it means you're going to be able to pick it up and instantly use it. You're not going to be fumbling around. You're not going to be worried about a lot of the things that come with wanting more quality, but thinking maybe you're not ready for that step into sort of professional grade SLRs, whether it be the sheer price of it, whether it's thinking you're leaping out of your depth in terms of functionality. Likewise, if you do feel that you want more functionality, there is still things like the D300S. That's still considered a professional level camera. Its feature set, the functionality of the camera is built with the professional in mind. It's got a crop sensor, but it's also got an excellent frame rate. It's perfect for action, it's perfect for wildlife, anything that you'd expect a crop sensor to be used for, something like a 300S, even the D7000 with its updated processor, they are brilliant little cameras. This is sort of Nikon's key attempt to get it's something for portrait photographers, something for landscape photographers. It's making the use of all of your lens options. Really you now have got the option, you can pick up a full frame SLR at a sort of relatively entry level price. You'll be able to use your ultra wide, so you're going to get landscapes, everything in the frame. Portraits, your depth of field is going to be affected by having a bigger sensor. ISOs, this camera goes up to ISO, was it 25,600? That's admittedly boosted, but you're going to be experiencing infinitely less noise than you would on a crop sensor. Okay, the Nikon have gone leaps and bounds there. Their noise reduction algorithms are genius. They are working wonders. They're making shots that would never have been able to sort of be usable. They are making those sort of files. They're making it completely ready for print, for reproduction, for absolutely anything. I hope you've enjoyed our first look at the Nikon D600. I hope it's maybe given you a couple of ideas and stopped some of the worry you had about the camera, or indeed just answered some of the questions that you thought to ask. If there are any questions, feel free to leave comments in the video. Rate, comment, subscribe to our channel. We're going to be producing more and more of these. Hopefully, slightly better location. But this is our very early sort of tests for this sort of stuff. If you do like it, please share it around, get your friends involved, get it out there. We'll start producing more and more top quality content for you. If there's anything you feel that we've missed, anything you'd like to double check on, again, comment, ask us on Twitter, we're at Castle Cameras, or just like us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/Castle Cameras. We'll be answering all your questions and anything else on there. So thank you very much for watching. I've got no idea what I want to say about it. It's a camera.